we've been working on thinking about having some intro music here, and here we are.
Like,
Atlas, that is an intro.
that's, oh my
Who needs
goodness.
music?
Who needs music when you need that? You got
Right?
that. There's no need. That's the intro. You're welcome.
Damn, thank you. It's not enough said. That's beautiful. Oh man, good stuff. Well, welcome to the huddle, everybody. A lot less of what you just saw from Atlas's dog will be happening here tonight, and more chatting about men's health, our favorite topic. Yeah, I don't. That's special. I don't know how to top that. So, yeah, no. Appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate the three of you guys very, very much. We've got Carrie Kish, Stephanie Rosari, and Atlas Matsula. I believe I said that right, hopefully. And we're live, man. So very excited. We're touching men's health this month, and that stemmed from many conversations around November and Movember and prostate cancer and all the different topics that fall under men's health. But yeah, so we did decide that this month's going to be very general and kind of all encompassing around men's health. And I think it's going to make for some very interesting conversations here tonight because based on the questions that I have, it can go. It's broad. I'll tell you what, it's broad, and some people, we may dive into some of the obvious things around men's health, and we may stay very general and high level. So yeah, I'm very excited to jump into it. Quick round table. How's everyone doing? Carrie, I'll start with you.
Yeah, great, man. Good, great month since the last time we had the arena. Looking forward to tonight. Yeah, lots of things to. I'm looking to learn just as much as I share tonight. So getting into it.
Amazing. Very good. Stefan, how you doing down south, man?
Good, good, very good. I watched America win the World Series.
Yeah, I had a funny feeling
You
that was
know,
coming
we
up
no,
tonight.
you guys brought that up so fast last time, and you guys said, "Well, maybe by next month we'll have some more to say." And here it is. It's this month, and you guys don't have anything to say. I don't. It's weird, man. It's just weird. It's just yeah. You know what
Crickets.
the intro song should have been like Drake's saddest song ever should have
Mm,
been the
he's got a
intro.
lot of those. He's got a lot of those.
Yeah, yeah, I love Drake. I always have. But yeah, it just be fitting. I mean,
It felt
I,
like the Dodgers were destined to win. There was so many weird moments in Game 6 and 7 that it was just like
I felt like that about the Blue Jays. I thought the Blue Jays were destined to win. I really did.
yeah.
And because Donnie Baseball has not won a ring, I would have been happy if the Blue Jays won. The only reason I was against the Blue Jays, like rooting against the Blue Jays at all, was because they seemed to be more excited about beating the Yankees than they were about winning at all. So they didn't deserve the win on that basis. Yep.
We came so
So
damn close, man. It was insane.
yeah, really close.
It was
Really,
just
really close. I was
so
so
close.
frustrated because I was like, I don't care who wins. I want to go to bed. And yeah.
Right. Yeah, they struggled to end the game in 9 innings in that series, but yeah, very exciting baseball. From what I've heard, it's going to be ranked as
Yeah.
one of the best all time World
One of the
Series.
best World
So
Series all time for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so happy
So
to be
yeah.
a part of it and be engaged and rooting on the home team. But yeah, not our year. So we'll be back. We'll be back next year.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, maybe not the World Series, but we'll be back in the MLB playing baseball again. That's for damn sure. Um, moving on, Atlas, how you doing, man?
I'm well, man. I'm well. I'm a little saddened. Again, I don't watch baseball. October comes through, and I say, okay, all right, I'll watch a little bit. But the Blue Jays, it was so hype. I was so in, and it was heartbreaking for sure. So it's all good. It's all good. Like I said, I'm not invested, but it hurts a little bit. Canada doesn't have a lot to root for. So it's like when the Raptors won. You know what I mean? There's just something exciting in the country. So, anyways, I'm well. I'm well. I'm like looking forward to this conversation. I love this topic, and my dogs are keeping me entertained in the background, humping each other. So
Beautiful.
it's a good time in this house. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I understand. Yeah, you're in for a fun hour. Um, Yeah. So yeah, men's health, guys. Honestly, like very broad topic, like I said when we got into it, and yeah, your questions are sporadic and spread out and generic. So I'm excited to see where the conversation flows tonight. First off, we'll certainly acknowledge Fabian's not with us tonight, unfortunately, taking care of some family, and which we always encourage and prioritize. So shout out to him. We're actually going to start with his question in honor of him that he submitted. So first question on the docket tonight is, what does taking care of yourself look like right now, and what do you wish it did look like if you're not there at 100%? And we'll go with Carrie off the top.
All right. I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you. So, yeah, no, I think for me, the big thing is what does taking care of yourself mean right now? I've definitely made, if you asked me that last month as opposed to this month, my answer would be different because I've actually did a little inventory on myself last month on what you need to be doing and what needs to change and add things in, take things out. So, yeah, I mean, it's I'm happy to share that it's more well-rounded for me. From I got away from a lot of the little things that I know that I found success with and contributed to me feeling great overall. So physically, emotionally, mentally. I got away from some of those meditation, in the summer when it's nice outside, easy for me to say, you know what, I'll skip the gym today, and because I'm going golfing, with this, and then it got, and one of those happens, the next one happens, and kind of got away from that. So dialed back into making sure that in the gym, doing what I need to do for my own like meditation, just quiet time, stuff like that, and yeah, and just eating, making better decisions, right? And not, with eating and stuff like that too. So, and of course, we could always be better at everything we do. So all I would do is just turn the dial up from 10 to 11 on those. If in a perfect world, that's what it would look more like for me. So, yeah,
Okay, good job, man. No, I love that you've kind of set the intention, and you've put all the building blocks in place, and it's ramping up for you. Certainly, no Halloween candy whatsoever over at the Kish House, or how
there
many?
there was Halloween candy, but happy to say the box because I ended up having to go help out a few other people on that night with some other stuff. So the box is still unopened
Wow,
at my house. So,
good
but I
on
have
you.
teenagers, so I'm sure it won't stay like that for very
That won't
long.
last long.
So,
Yeah,
and I'm still a work in progress, so I can't say that one or two of those might not slip into my lunch kit either. So,
good man, good man. Well deserved. Don't forget to treat yourself from time to time. It's one of
yes,
those
sir.
things. As diligent as we can be, sometimes it's nice to have a little treat on the side. So, uh, yeah, yeah, awesome, great stuff, Stefan. How you doing? What does taking care of yourself look like right now?
It should look like not eating sweets. And right
Mm.
now, I'm just it's hard, man. It's really hard. Yeah, it's those
Yeah,
Halloween candy, and what
yeah.
I notice is that most guys will have a vice that is very obvious. Either a guy drinks to take the edge off, or he's a smoker or something like that. I don't really have any of those obvious vices, but you know, I heard the quote somewhere like "never trust a man that doesn't have any vices," and I was thinking like, well, what's my thing? And I was like, sweets. It's chocolate chip
Mm.
cookies. It's
Nice.
Reese's peanut butter cups, and just yeah, you know, we took my 1-year-old son around that can't eat any of the candy and put him in his cow outfit and
Nice.
paraded him around housing for no reason other than to get candy, for us, and we ate it. So, but if I'm being completely honest with myself and honest to the topic, that's 100% advice for me. It is sweets and the consumption of sugar like that.
Mm.
I can't just have one, and it's good that working out is a part of, it's part of my job, or something that I have to do at least to a certain degree, to where it would be difficult for me to get astronomically out of shape, but I definitely don't like what it looks like right now. And it isn't so much that like, oh, I'm fat, as much as like I don't look how I want to look, and it's my fault, and I know exactly why.
Mm.
That's the part that is difficult to flesh out and deal with. But yeah, so that's what taking care of myself right now would be: staying more consistent in the gym and not turning the sweets, as a vice like that. It should be a treat on the side, but I shouldn't even do that. Yeah,
They're just
a
so
treat,
convenient. They're little, they're just you just one
dude.
at a time, and all of a sudden you've had nine, and it's like, did you even have
Right.
any?
Yeah, and
Like,
it's like, and when you're a kid, you're just like, I can't wait till I'm an adult and I can have as many as I want. And I'm just like, someone please stop me, please. So
yeah,
yeah, and I mean, it seems benign because it sounds so childish, but like there's real sugar in there. It's
hmm
actually not good for you when you have that much, and then when you bring it back to mental health and things that we talk about. It's like, why am I doing this thing over and over without the ability to stop, or at least without enough of the willpower to stop? Why am I weak in the face of something so stupid like this? Yeah, and it's like, well, you can call it childish, you can call it benign, you can call it whatever you want. You can, as silly as it may seem, the fact of the matter is that me as a man have a weakness to this thing. So, you know, good thing it's not smoking, but is it really that much worse?
yeah,
So,
yeah. Fair
yeah.
question.
So that's what it would look like, is not eating so many sweets, or just
Fair.
stopping altogether. Yeah.
Yeah. Tough challenge, man. Cutting sugar out of your diet is a real tough one to do in today's day. So, yeah, yeah, I've tried it and failed many times. So I can speak to that certainly, including this
Yeah.
morning when I promised myself I'd have no O Henry mini O Henrys. But guess what? I had five. So there we
What
are.
is
But
that?
yeah, well, you'll figure it out one day. It's a delicious little chocolate bar. Steven, please
Ah,
let me off the hook and allow me to step to Atlas and hear about how
I
taking
really
care
didn't
of
know what O.
himself
Henry was.
looks like right now and what he wishes could look like.
Did I hear Stefan? You don't know what an O. Henry is?
I thought he
I
was
do
kidding.
not.
Oh no.
No, I'm not
No,
kidding.
he's being dead
Exactly.
Oh
serious.
shit. Okay.
I'm being that
Okay.
serious. I don't know
Yes.
what O. Henry is. Yeah, it sounds like a non-alcoholic beer. If I were to guess.
Fascinating. Okay, all right, we're gonna have to figure out the equivalent of what's in America because there's got to be something down there that's the
It's like
same.
kind
I
of like a
guess.
Snickers, but like less. I
Okay.
don't know. We'll figure that out another
Yeah,
time.
less. Yeah, they're delicious.
Mhm.
Anyways, um,
Now I gotta find them.
uh, first things first, Carrie. I appreciate you talking about this cycle that you're kind of navigating. Like you've gone through it. If you asked me a little while ago, I think it just speaks to this conversation's always changing. Like I'm always in a different spot, and I'm always trying to find either consistency or I have found it, and now I'm looking for maybe a slowdown or something like I've taken it too far, and I'm constantly swinging the pendulum. So I appreciate that reminder for all of us. And then Stefan, mine's brownies. It's a
Mm.
problem. Like little brownies from the store, like 2 bite brownies. Don't give me a bag of those. That's a bad news bears. But if it's like I'm pretty particular about my brownies too. I'm a little hoity-toity about it,
Mm.
and so I'll probably eat a solid deep brownie if I could every single day. As a post dinner dessert. So, sugar's the real deal. But what does taking care of myself look like right now? I actually really like the component I have right now where Sundays are do whatever day. Now I have the privilege of not having kids yet, so I get to still do that. But right now I have that set in my routine. It's a football day. It's if I get chores done, they get done day. It's just a do nothing, and it's helped a lot in the sense of being able to walk into Monday feeling more alive, more ready, and I think in the sense of the question, like what is taking care of myself, because it's such a broad one. That one I know for sure is in there, and then what do I want it to look like? I wish I could say consistency in the gym, but then I would have to delay my clients, which gets a little sticky, and my timing. And I would have to go at 7 in the morning, So I guess there's my answer. I just kicked myself in the face there with that one. That was pretty rude. So, anyways, I would like to be in the gym a couple more times a week for sure. But I like my diet right now. I like my lifestyle choices with food. Let me rephrase. I hate the word diet. My lifestyle choices with food. I like those a lot better right now. And I've actually started to do more water intake. I was only drinking about 1.5 liters a day, and I was getting headaches. And so I've changed that and doubled that, which has felt a lot better. I have to pee in the middle of the night now, which is super frustrating. But at least throughout the day, I can focus a lot more. So, yeah, a revolving door of things that I think move and twist as the days go by. But those are my staples right now. And I think if I wished it could have looked like something, yeah, it'd probably just be more gym time, more physical activity, kicking my own ass, a little bit more fitness related stuff for sure.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I'm gonna fill in. We got a little open air tonight, so I'm gonna answer my own questions here tonight. Um, for me, it's a little bit different, guys. It's taking care of myself right now is just doing the basics, like it, and that's a huge win for me. It's like just getting out of bed, taking care of the things I need to take care of. Walk, like it's very simple, but it's those very, I'm like starting from scratch and just little wins, little wins, little wins, stacking little things. So like for me, taking care of myself is, yeah, is starting from zero and just being present with what it is I want to accomplish for that day, and that's working right now. What I wish it looked like was beast mode Derek destroying the gym and eating super clean and all those things. Not in the cards, and that's okay. So it's doing the basic stuff for me that's helping me, like you say, physically, mentally, emotionally, those types of things. Yeah.
I really like that answer. I want to double down on it. I think that one of the greatest ways I have noticed I feel good about taking care of myself is when I am in integrity in a day. Like when I'm doing those things, those tiny little micro moments, not the big magnanimous over the top hustle and bustle, because they take longer. But the little things throughout the day, if I just get those things done, then I'm in integrity with myself and I feel so much better than if I were to, grind it out for however many hours for nothing, or at least perceivably maybe nothing in that moment. So I really like that answer because it speaks to also what I've been trying to focus on as well. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, maybe a bit forced, which is obviously, at times a good thing, maybe. You know what I mean? Like just taking care of the basic stuff, chipping away at what's aligned and being present with that. So yeah, it's good. And of course, like you said, though, it will ebb and flow and change, and as circumstances change around you. So how we take care of ourselves.
Another angle to that same thing too is that I tell people all the time if they talk to me and say like I think I'm feeling depressed or I think I'm feeling anxious or they feel kind of like a bad period of time coming on. I tell them like at all costs maintain the healthy habits that you have, whatever
Hmm.
your normal day to day, those basics, you maintain those at all costs, no matter what. If you go to the gym every day, I don't care if you go for 15 minutes, like
Hmm.
you go every single day. When it comes to like eating, sleeping, drinking water, stuff like that, because those are the kinds of things that as soon as one of those starts to slip, you really start spiraling fast, right? Because that's your baseline. So yeah, staying with those basics is a bigger deal than people give credit for.
Yep, 100%, man. You hit the nail on the head. Obviously, physical health is a big piece of what we've kind of been talking about. I think inherently we lean to that as men. Often is how we're taking care of our bodies will translate into better minds and that sort of thing. What does being healthy mean to you beyond the physical side of things? And I'm going to start with Stefan. So if you can just give us your thoughts on that front.
I don't think you've ever called me first and I have no idea what to do.
Got to stay on your toes today, buddy.
Being healthy beyond the physical. I mean, the obvious thing is, is mental, like mental and emotional. But I could take a different angle though and go with spiritual. And I don't mean particularly religious.
Mhm.
What I tell people when it comes to faith, because I did have a huge faith journey from being viciously agnostic to being a person of faith now, um, regardless of what faith you want to talk about, um, organized or not. What I've told people that's worked for me is that if you are the number one thing to you, you're going to have a really bad time. That was, and it's a bit of an abstract way to put it, but that's what I noticed was the biggest difference from before when I wasn't doing well to, since then when I've been doing a lot better is that I am not number one to me, whether it's something greater or it's something here on earth like your family. Something else has to be number one. Something else has to be above you to reach towards and be like, this is the thing that I need to make better. Um, so that's, yeah, outside of the physical, everything else kind of aligns under that, right? And for me it was becoming a Christian. For me it was, having my faith journey, and that, so for me that means like just reaching towards God, and what that means to me was what made everything else just sort of fall in line in one neat tower. um and with family included in that as well. But that's what I would say for anything, outside of the physical, is having something that's more important than you, and always striving to make that better. um, when I was number one, that everything would just fall apart all over the place.
And does it have to be beyond this life or this realm, or what you can it be your family, can it be a friend, can it be something else in the physical space, or make it like what I'm saying is that priority piece that you're ranking above all else.
I don't know. I would say that family could be it, and
Right.
I think, or at least an example of something here on Earth that could fill that. Um, I would have a really hard time figuring out how something here on Earth could be big enough and high enough to prioritize for everything else to fall in line the way something like that does. And again, that's not, I'm not here to preach to anybody, right?
Hmm.
That's not what we're doing here. But um, to be able to have a mindset and to be able to have a sort of value hierarchy that goes up it's to where it's like, what, like, things are important up to and through dying. Right. So if you take a different example, right, take marriage as a religious ceremony, the way that the way that I see it, as far as it being something sacred, as far as it being something divine, it has to be that because you as a husband, your job is to be there as a husband up to and through death. I don't know what else could suffice to get me to reach any higher than that. You know what I mean? So it's like there's nothing alive here on Earth that could have gotten me lined up with anything better and greater than that. Um, yeah. So for me, that's what that looked like in terms of health. I mean, I don't. I, one of the biggest, most important outputs with all the different stressors that my family has dealt with personally over the last couple of years. I don't worry about stuff. Right. Like, and it's not that I don't feel any emotion towards anything, but when something big happens, I can feel what I have to feel. I can go through what I have to go through. Um, but I always have this sense that I'm just like, okay, somehow, eventually, things are going to be okay. I don't know how I don't know what else could fulfill that, because say it is family that's at the top, right, that you put above you, which you should be putting above you, but say that is the number one thing, is family, without anything above that. I mean, that can fall apart here on Earth. So for me, that's what it was that got everything to be healthier outside of the physical.
Love it, man. Yeah, thoughtful answer for sure. Atlas, you wanna jump in and
Yeah,
follow that, tag in? Yeah.
just nodding my head like crazy. I'm not, a specific faith per se, but I can echo that reality that when I'm too dug in to the ground is where things get a little choppy, and when I'm able to be rooted but also be open to something bigger than me, that's when that combination bears a lot of fruit. I'm able to just operate my day better, and my perspectives are more aligned with how I want to feel, and it's just quicker to get to a sense of maybe solace or peace or contentment when that balance is found. And when it's not, yeah, I'm too much in control. Like you said, I'm the number one. I'm too much in control, and I lose it. So I think that's definitely something for me as well. Is just it's a really, really crucial. I try to remind myself as much as possible. It's not a great routine, but I know, like even right now, I'm super dug in, and I'm starting to tread water a little bit. I can feel it, and so it's like, okay, all right, how do I step back, zoom back out, and just listen and just breathe and step back out into something bigger than me, and that I know that will help. So yeah, doubling down on that. And then my answer to the question, I would say I don't really love the word healthy per se in my vocabulary, healthy versus unhealthy. I think for me, I would say that the things that I do throughout my day and the choices that I make are either productive to the way that I want to feel, or they're unproductive to the way that I want to feel. Whether they're healthy or whether they're unhealthy is, I guess, for some people, a good metric for them. It doesn't really help me because I find that I'll quickly spiral in certain areas with certain things that maybe am or am not doing, or should be doing, or could be doing. And so I find it more valuable for me to think of it in terms of it's either productive and effective for my goals, or it's not. And it's like, okay, well, cool, great. That was unproductive. All right, no problem. What's productive now? Or what's more effective? More empowering for me. And so when I use that language, I notice that I need to know my goal first. Like, where am I even going with it anyway? So that helps as well, versus like, I want to be healthy, such a lofty goal. So my goal has to get more concise and more clear for me so that I know what I'm being productive towards. And so beyond physical fitness, I would say I would come back to the integrity piece, truthfully. I would say that when I am feeling whole, or feeling as if I am. We're back. Yeah. When I am, you can hear me, yeah?
Yeah, you're
We can
good.
hear you,
Yeah.
but I don't think you're in the
It's a
same
different
microphone
mic.
anymore.
Yeah, it's a different mic now.
Yeah, it sounds different now. Did your dog step on the cord?
Step on the cord.
You're muted now, though.
Now we can't
Now
hear
you're
you.
muted.
There we go. Now you're gone again.
No,
You're muted.
mute.
You're muted still, Alex.
Stop yelling at me, all right? I'm figuring it out.
There you go.
He's
I'm
back.
pulling it
He's back.
Derek.
We got you now. We got you now.
So you're gonna get this audio quality, I guess, because I messed up. Yeah, I would say that it's back to the integrity stuff. When I am feeling like I'm getting somewhere, like I'm whole, like the whole of me is alive and expressed, and I'm doing the things, I feel the best. I feel the most productive, the most effective, and that is it. If I miss the gym, or if I don't know, have a brownie at the end of the day, like all of those pieces are me still. So then tomorrow, is that also then what I express, or is there other parts of me that I express? What does that look like? And how do I round that out throughout the course of the week? I mean, it helps me take myself a little less seriously. I went to a sweat lodge recently, and the guy reminded us that no one's getting out alive. I think, Carrie, you say that often, no one's getting out alive. So it's always a good reminder, like, okay, hold on. All right. Is it that serious? I don't think so. And so when I am able, again, lack of seriousness tends to be, for me, stepped out. Something's bigger than me. There's something, up somewhere. That helps a lot. So I think it's a bit multi-layered, but that would be my long-winded answer.
You said you weren't getting out of the sweat lodge alive?
What?
That's the way it sounded, like you went in the sweat lodge and he said no one's getting out alive.
Listen, it's a rebirth process. So whatever went in died in there, and whatever came out, it was new. So I guess so.
Carrie Kish, you're up. What does being healthy mean to you beyond that great physical stature of yours?
Oh, I don't know about that, my friend, but
Hey, I've seen the
yeah,
pictures,
look.
man. I've seen the pictures.
Um, yeah, I think digging into it all kind of comes back. I mean, a little bit of what Steph has shared as well as Alice, but I think for me, what that means in dialing into that is not just what we do for ourselves, but the choices we make that impact others and our environments as well, the environment we choose to be in, things like that. So one of my I've shared it before. One of my favorite Tesla quotes is, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And I think what does being healthy mean beyond physical fitness? I mean, there's other areas in our lives and things that impact our physical health. Like when I was in I say the dust up storm, of going through separation and divorce, I know that my body broke down to the point where I had shingles in this nerve on my face, and it was crazy. But I mean, it's so when we think being healthy is just not eating O. Henry bars and going to the gym every day, it's so much more than that, in the sense that if we're not making choices and taking time for ourselves and investing into that, like, I mean, when and I mean, shit was real at that point, man. Like, there's like, you got so much going on, and just what did I need to do with that? I mean, I don't know. It was a combination of everything, as well as just sometimes the world just squeezes in on you and you got to figure it out. But if we don't look after, like, where I'm going with this, if we don't look after those other variables in our lives, our relationships, and we can go on those pillars, right? Relationships, our careers, like whatever that looks like, and putting all these in, it's going to impact, and it works the other way around too. It's not just things feeding into our physical fitness. If we're not looking after our fitness, that's going to impact our relationships and our careers and things like that. Like, it's all meshed together. As men, we try to segment every single one of them. All right, my career's kicking ass and taking names. I'm doing great in the
Mm,
gym. Haven't gone on a date night in 6 months, but I'll just deal with that when it gets there, right? Or the other way around. Like, it's
mm,
it's it's all intertwined. We try to segment. So I think being healthy beyond physical fitness is paying attention. And I make an analogy all the time of pick what you want, but I say, whether it's career in one, a giant pizza box, we'll call it, and each corner, physical fitness in one end and your career in the other one, relationships in the other one, and let's call it like finances, or just your kind of, or you take that right out of the picture, put that in career, but just your connectedness to yourself, that how you're dialed into what you're doing, how you're feeling. And it's always, you put a ping pong ball on it, and it's never gonna
mm.
be even. Sometimes you're gonna have to focus more on this, sometimes you're gonna have to come back to this. And just that surrender to the fact that it's always going to be something a little bit different, as Atlas shared, that every month it's a different, we have the same conversation a month from now, it's going to be different. But knowing that being healthy, beyond physical fitness, is knowing that it's all connected, and you can't just segment it. Like, and so when you, if and again, knowing this personally from, like you mentioned earlier, all right, so from going from a bodybuilding show to completely going the other way around and back and forth, and knowing that when that happens, like when I'm going to the gym and I'm clicking and I'm feeling good, and you have that confidence in yourself, things go better in my career as well. Things go better in your relationship, because you have all those things, and it's all connected. And when things, and the analogies, you could have 10 things in your life that you're focused on. One of them is going great, and the other nine are in a little bit of a dust up. But if we choose to focus on what's good about that one thing, it trickles in to the other nine, right? And because we focus. But if we focus on all the nine that aren't going good and what's not working out, eventually it's going to dull and snuff the flame on the one thing that's going well. So we just need to realize it's all connected. So that's coming into that, I think, is again, looking after yourself, knowing that it's all connected, and not ever thinking, like we've all done with the Halloween
Hmm.
candy, is where it's like, well, I ate six of them, I can't just leave the other 14 in the box, because they're going to know that I ate six of them, so I'm just going to take care of the whole thing, and away we go, right? But coming back to it, and I have done that, so there's no, but
Yeah.
but coming back to it, knowing that it's where you're at, like, just, it's all connected, man. And just because one area is not going great, focus on what's going well, because it will influence the other areas as well.
That's really strong. At least I resonate with that very much, and very well said. Like, over the last couple of years, obviously my physical health, my back, the things I've been dealing with, it's kind of taught me those exact lessons that you were talking about, like having to understand that, listen, the ping pong ball's over on the other side of the box right now, and you know what? That's okay. That's okay. You know what? Like it'll swing back. You know, like the ball will roll around and it'll touch the other corners. But and just recognizing that and not letting the fact that the ping pong ball isn't in the right corner, the corner I want it to be at that time, it allowed me to, you know, like find, I don't want to say peace, but like calm and find alignment in the other parts of my life while the ball was in that corner, so to speak. Yeah, because it can be really tough, right? Like if you want the ball to be somewhere that it's not going there. It's, you know, it's got to go uphill to get there, and it's like, damn, with career, finances, or, you know, physical health, any of the other areas that we've talked about, it can be a frustrating time to try and force things that aren't meant to be. So for me, it was peace and alignment, and some of the things that you guys have talked about here, beyond just the physical fitness. It's just, you know, the bigger picture, so to speak. So really, really great answers, guys. That was a lot deeper than I thought it was going to be, and I appreciate every word said there, so thank you. I'm going to start with Atlas on this one. It's a really good question. I'm curious which way he takes it. If we looked at men's health not as an individual responsibility, but as a cultural issue, what would need to change first? Atlas, you are up. Carrie, I'm being generous. I'm giving you the heads up. You're number 2, buddy.
It's crazy. You threw Stefan on the bus earlier. Okay, if we looked at men's health not as an individual responsibility, but as a cultural issue, what would need to change first? It's a loaded question. Obviously speaking more to the work that we're doing, or at least we're trying to do here when it comes to men's mental health, men's physical health, men's financial health, men's spiritual health, fill in the blank. I think that I imagine it to be something along the lines of support, potentially, in the sense of men would need to seek out accountability through others. And I know for me, like in this space, for example, like operating the space with you guys, like the health of this group and me in the group definitely shifts by the accountability of all of you. So I think about my physical health, and if I didn't have, you know, the other people in the gym to move me in that direction, or if I didn't have friends that were still staying active, or I didn't have Steph to compete with, then I think that I would be less inclined sometimes to go. I think the power of that unspoken accountability does a lot for me, and I lean into it a lot when I need a little extra push, motivation, drive. Even in some of these calls, you know, I know that it holds me accountable. And so when I think about the health of my mental, I think about the health of my physical, my spiritual. I think that what would need to change first is, I mean, it sounds cheesy, but the willingness to be held accountable and not do it myself all the time. I think that would be a powerful initiative for a lot of men to take on. And I think we spoke about this in the last one, like that brotherhood and that community. I think that would be where health really starts to play a huge factor. And I know for the other groups that I'm a part of, it also plays a huge role in them being able to actually take charge, take initiative, be held accountable to something bigger than themselves, more than just, hey, I need to do this for me. It's like, no, my crew's relying on me to do this. Mm-hmm. And so there's a layer of, I think, healthy accountability and pressure, productive pressure, that gets us to go in the right direction. And without it, I think that, yeah, we can go lopsided pretty quick, which we noticed even just with the spiritual health. So that would be where I would say.
Yeah, very, very cool question and very cool answer. The cultural word for me, I was trying to wrap my head around, what does that mean? Like, you know, is it is it religion? Is it, you know, culture for what it is? Country? Is it, you know? And so for you to put it in the perspective of, I don't know, what connected to me is like obviously a group. I went as simple as, you know, your workout buddy, and all the way up to your priest or your God, or, you know, your relationship with that partner. Like, it's a very, very interesting question. So Carrie, I'd love to hear your thoughts on
Yeah, good question. So yeah, and depending on how you interpret different, you know, the word cultural, right, and responsibility and issue, like there's a number of different, every word of that you could take it a different direction. But the first one that hit me was number one, like as a cultural issue. So what is society when we look at it and say it's not an individual responsibility, but it's a responsibility of the society of
it.
men in general, right? What would need to change first? I think in the interpretation that I'm taking from that would be, I think to the first word that jumped in for me was ownership,
Mm.
right? As a group, right? It's like, and we talk about that in teams that we're on, and things uh where we I guess we say we're only as strong as our weakest link, right? So what do we need to do to support? Like we look at all the teams that played on and things, and it's like if you're going to win a championship, you've got to make sure that your third line can get the job done, right? They don't have to, you know, and so where can we support, you know, instead of leaving behind maybe guys that are, you know, in a rough chapter or struggling, where can we support them as a society or an overall culture that helps them get to where they need to be, right? And that's where, again, in that ownership in a group perspective, because we look back individually, right, which is says it's not individual. We're looking at the cultural issue. We look at, and then so, and again, so supporting the guys that aren't, or that are struggling a little bit or whatever, like what can we do, what can the entire community do to help those guys with whatever that is. And so there's a lot of sub points in that, right, of what do they need to, you know, what do we need to do to help that? Is it what is it, finances? Is it, you know, physical, you know, coaching and helping with that? Is it just emotional, someone to have, you know, go have a beer with, someone to have a conversation with when they need it? What is that, right? And then the accountability and the ownership's on there. You've got to reach out and do it. We talked about that in our other, in some of the other arenas. But I guess that's what it is. Coming back to it, I think that from a cultural or social issue, the big one for me would be that what can, you know, is it, and as an ownership of the entire kind of society culture, is what can we do as leaders or people when things are going well in your world and everything else, is to contribute to that all ships rise mentality, I guess, is what
Mm.
I'd say would need to change, instead of somehow, and again, guilty of it at mine. It's like, look, man, I got my own shit to deal with right now. Like I don't got time to go do that right now. I got this. But it's like, you know what? Taking 5 minutes and having a conversation with that would mean the world, right, to that. Or, you know, the littlest things make the biggest difference. So I think that would be what would need to change. That's what I would focus on first.
Excellent, excellent train of thought there. Stefan, what do you got for us?
So when I think of things in a cultural perspective, um, the simplest way I can put it is that men specifically, like we need a reason to care, right? We have to care about something. It has to mean something to us. Like the idea of just being better and being healthy just for no reason just doesn't work. At least for most guys, it doesn't. Um, if you, I think at least a couple of you probably read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And anyone that watches this, if you haven't read Man's Search for Meaning, you absolutely have to. He talks about being in Auschwitz, and he talks about how, you know, they had their, you know, like there was like a barrel of soup that came out, and they all had like one scoop of soup that they, you know, could have a day while they were being starved in the camps. And but you know, they all had the will to live. They all had the will to keep going and supporting each other, even though it was just the most horrific conditions you can possibly imagine. But he could tell when someone had given up, because there were rations of cigarettes given out to everyone in the camps, and most of them didn't take the cigarettes, and he could tell when someone gave up because they started smoking the cigarettes. And they would usually die pretty soon thereafter if it was just from exhaustion or starvation or whatever. But there was a direct sort of like cause and effect, and maybe not even cause and effect, but if someone started taking the cigarettes, they started giving up on just trying to stay alive and just do whatever the healthiest options were available to them at the time, relative to being in an environment like that. If they gave up on that, then they were pretty much done for. Um, I see an extremely broad sort of version of that where it's like guys don't have a reason to care and they haven't for a long time. Maybe in different pockets of societies they do. I mean, I see this even within the military that because there isn't like an active war or there hasn't been like a recent 9/11 that people can remember, the motivation within the military isn't the same as it was a couple decades ago and up to the time that I had joined, because we don't really have the motivation of like we remembered this thing happening, so this is why this is important. Um, so I think, and I think it's getting better, recently. I think, just the idea of being a man has become more important to men, in the recent, I'd say maybe 5 years or so than it did for a while. But from a cultural perspective, the way you improve, the health of men, a huge part of it is going to be, things have to mean something. Things they have to be able to care about stuff, and whatever it is that they're building up for. I mean, it has to matter. It can't just be just for the sake of. And I notice something I notice across like anyone on the internet that calls himself like an alpha male, or anyone on the internet that is just espousing these like these hyper masculine sort of like caricatures of manhood that just aren't even realistic, let alone serious at all. Um, they all kind of have this prescription of just being better and better and better and better with no end game for it. It's not be better so you can be a good husband, not be better so that you can be a good family man. It's not be better even so that you can be successful in a specific sort of arena or career or whatever. It's just meaningless, self-improvement. And it's like if where you're going leads to nowhere, it doesn't matter how good you look when you get there, you're still going to end up nowhere. And so that's on a cultural level, we have to be going somewhere. Um, Now, what that actually looks like, I have no idea. I have no idea. I know that there have been, times in the past in recent history where there, have been shared values across society, say we say, Western society, what have you. Um, but a lot of those times that we can take like right after World War II, where the entire Western world, or at least most of it on this side of the water, was pretty united in the fact that we did a good thing when it came to ending World War II and our part in that. Um, and we rode that wave culturally for a long time. But we can't rely on extreme catastrophes to give us meaning, in response to it forever. You know. So yeah, as far as what that looks like, how that could happen culturally, I don't really know. Um, but that's what I think, is that things have to mean something. They can't just happen in the ether.
Yeah, very good answer. And, a couple words that came up as I've read this question probably 20 times since I asked it the first time. A couple more words that came up for me were education and transparency. And I'll just leave it at that. Like in terms of, if it is a cultural issue beyond, like, as one, we need to really trying to continue to educate ourselves and learn about what that actually means, you know. And the third piece, I think, and not to stray too far from the brand and from the discussions that we have often, is also forgiveness. That was a word that came up to me for that question as well. So not to dive too much into those, but I wanted to put my 2 cents in. So yeah, great conversation. We've got about 10 minutes left, and I've got 2 questions here. So I'm going to start with one, and we can run it 10 minutes, no problem. But maybe a little bonus question at the end, we'll see. Okay, how has your perspective on health changed as you've gotten older? and I don't know everybody's age, so I won't go by age. But I'm gonna guess Stefan is first. Go ahead, young man Stefan, please.
Did you assume that I'm the youngest, or because I don't know how old everyone is either?
Exactly. You just
Okay,
answer first.
cool.
Yeah.
Um, my perspective on health as I've gotten older is actually pretty easy once I thought about this not too long ago. I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine when I was like 25, and like my entire mindset was just like, I'll get paid again. Who cares? Or like, I'll recover from this hangover and be fine. I'll go back to the gym and, whatever, who cares? Um, and sure, some of that, was probably purely due to age, but some of that was because, at the time that I didn't really value anything. Um, so yeah, I mean, probably the most obvious, the biggest thing. Um, I would say life events as opposed to age have, probably helped me out the most. Getting married, becoming a dad, those things probably had the most profound effect, outside of getting older. Um, if there's anything I can say as far as getting older is having more time for like really bad experiences. I was talking to my wife about this not too long ago because we've had a handful of significant tragedies in the last 2 years, and I was like, I completely understand why, it's stereotypical of guys like in the 40s and 50s and up, to not have as much of a sense of humor as, a guy in their 20s and 30s would. It's kind of expected for, teenagers and guys in their 20s and their 30s without as much life experience, to find everything funny, and you think everything is a joke. And after the last couple of years, I'm just like, no wonder they say that, because like shit's not funny all the time. There's a lot of really serious stuff that happens, and life just knocks you on your ass, and you're just a different person after that. Now, I do think it's extremely important to be able to maintain, your ability to absorb and process and experience joy, and to be able to take humor in things and to be able to stay lighthearted about stuff. It's hard to do. That's what I'm realizing, is that it's hard to stay humorous about things. It's hard to, just it's hard to maintain a decent heart and to stay kind and to find things funny, even if you shouldn't. Um, so that's probably one of the biggest perspective shifts I've had over the years.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Um, Atlas.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Sorry. How has your perspective on health changed as you've gotten older and presumably wiser?
Well, I'm pretty sure I'm the youngest in this circle, so mine just recently started to shift. And yeah, my 20s, I beat this thing up. I beat this thing up mentally, physically, emotionally. I beat this thing up. And so it's changed a lot because now I don't see it as immediate anymore. Like there's less urgency towards health, whether it's physical or mental or spiritual or, however emotional you want to look at it. I notice that it's now transitioned into the long game. So if I take the physical, like I'm just focused on longevity and that's it. And if I miss a day, like I understand the impact, but it's less of a like, uh-oh, I didn't, get those extra 20 bicep curls in today. I'm going to have no bicep anymore. And I knew in my 20s, I didn't know this, but I believed that if I didn't do that 7 days a week, I would lose my biceps. Like they would just go away. And so I've learned that longevity is actually really real. Like it actually exists in this kind of system and routine. 3-4 times a week. I don't lose that muscle, but I was so hyper, like like it means so much. So I think it's just a different presentation now. Like I'm more focused on how I feel and less about how other people feel about what's happening over here. Physically, for sure. Mentally, I'm more worried, and I would like to feel good versus everyone else feeling good about me. And I think that it's just transitioned into this. It's the natural maturation process, but I think there's one more layer for me that's missing in a general scope, and maybe I'll get there. I doubt it, but I'm grateful that I was so addicted at a time to personal growth, mental health, getting it all right, physical health, like competing and getting it all right. And I'm grateful for that because what I now have is this understanding of the value of it for me in my day-to-day life. So when I think about when I'm 50 or when I think about when I'm 55, I'm not going to lose that. And it confuses me, I guess, for lack of judgment, or maybe it's judgment, why we lose that, why we stop focusing on our health as men. I noticed there's a mass amount of men who are in that like above 50 to 60-ish range, 75-ish range, 70-ish range, where it's like, it's just like the physical health doesn't matter anymore. So I get curious around that and I wonder why that is. And so for me, I actually really want to be this person who can do all the things at that age. I'm very passionate about that. And I want to be able to walk when I'm 100, and I want to be able to jump when I'm 100, and I want to be able to do these things. It's very important to me, but it's also because I get to stand the test of time. I get to teach myself this thing can stand the test of time because I've beaten it up so heavy. So it's kind of a double down. So to answer your question, it's grown into just longevity. Like how long can I get all of this to work at a high frequency, high value, high amount? How long can I make that go for?
Awesome. I appreciate that. I've also gamified that almost in a way where I need to, challenge myself and, push for the long game. Certainly through my 30s, that this same mindset has transitioned for me as well. So, Kerry, what do you got for us, my friend?
Well, first of all, I learned something new tonight. Steph said when he was 25. I thought you were 23, man. Holy smokes. That's
He's got the face
just like
for it.
that.
That's why I
Hey,
said
yeah,
it
I'll
first.
tell you. Just like that. Just like that.
Yeah, I use gunpowder as my skincare routine.
Yeah. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, I think that how it shifted, being proudly saying that I am the veteran member of our group, that it's completely shifted from being something that was like a, part of something you need to do to, and more so an aesthetic thing. If you don't go to the gym, you don't do this, you don't look after that, you girls won't look at you. Or if you're not going to the gym, you're not going to be able to compete in sports. And it was like a me thing, as opposed to now, I guess it is still kind of a me thing, but my why is different. It is 100% functional, and as Atlas mentioned, the longevity thing, but not just because I want to live to be 120. Like, I mean, I'll tell you what, I've already planned my 111th birthday party with my kids, and they know exactly what's going on with that. But
Nice.
it's the one thing you cannot buy. You could be the richest person in the world, but if you can't walk, if you have trouble breathing, if your health is everything. And why is that important to me? Because I want to be there to walk my daughter down the aisle. I want to be there to go fishing with my kids and golfing with my kids and my grandkids. And I don't want them, the only time they see me is to come visit me in a home when I'm strapped in the corner. Not that, you know what I mean? Not that there's anything wrong with it, but that's not, I ain't going out like that. And that's my why. So the how it shifted for me is it is now, and again, Atlas, you mentioned that you're grateful that you invested in that earlier on in your life, and me too, right? Like being active. Thankfully, thank my parents for involving me in sports and different, and being, the friends that I had and being competitive, and that's what I did, be involved in that. But I mean, you're either going to be proactive or reactive when it comes to your health. You're going to invest time in it either way. So which one do you choose? And for me, the being proactive about it is so much more important. And just even recently, as we shared, one of the things that spurred my decision, a month ago, and I'll share it with you, is I was coaching my son in lacrosse. We were in provincials, and I hurt my knee, and I'll share, like, as we get older, whatever, but it wasn't in a lacrosse practice trying to juke and head around and demo this stuff. It was I sat down in the bleachers watching a different game, and I went to get up, and all of a sudden I'm like, what the hell, man? My knee is messed up. And it was like that for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, where I was limping around. People are going, what's going on, dude? And I'm like, man, I'm embarrassed to tell you. But so you either use it and you invest. And the reason where that came from is because, again, my legs are big enough, man. I don't have to do legs. So I've done legs in 2.5 years. And so if you're not using it, like, I don't need to load 15 plates on the squat rack and be pumping them out, but you do need to do squats. And you do, and so and that was a big thing for me, that it limited some of the things I could do with my kids, right? I wasn't able to, they're like, oh, we're all going to do this. We're going on a hike. They were going on a hike in the end of August. And I was like, well, we're going to ask you, Dad, but you're messed up right now. Like, you're not kidding. And I missed out on opportunities with my kids. And I said, that will be the last fucking time that I miss out on an opportunity with my kids because of decisions that I'm making and being reactive instead of proactive. So that's where I said, I'm in. So investing proactively into my health moving forward, because you guys are also invited to my 111th birthday party.
I was gonna say I
Yes,
better be on
sir.
that damn list.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It involves a few things, and I'll share. But yeah, I'll tell you, it's going to be a good one. So make sure you're there. And well, go ahead.
I was gonna say my calendar's pretty open next year, so you're in luck.
All right, right on. And I want to share too that I've got just a little side note. Not that I'm a doctor, medical research, do your own. This is, all the disclaimers and everything else. But one of those things that has made a resurgence, which used to be bro science and everything else for guys, but look into it, do your homework. I've been doing a ton of homework into it, is the benefits of creatine. And
Oh, yeah.
it is crazy. Like, I'm trying to get my mother to take creatine.
Yes.
Like, it's like there's
I've
so many
taken it for
benefits.
years. Yep.
Yeah. I took it in my bro science days, and everything, and I was like, yeah, and then but in the last I've been taking it for 2 months, and all of the, it's crazy, the benefits for it. So anyways,
Wow.
I will pass the conch back to our fearless leader.
I appreciate that. I have a bag of creatine in my pantry, and I've been flirting with the idea of starting to get back on it. So that could be the push I
Do it.
needed. So thank
Start it
you.
today.
Yep, do it.
Carrie, I want to shout you out as our elder statesman. You look great, and so we'll all be lucky to look as good as you at your age, whatever it may be, 110 or
52
40.
52 today,
Somewhere
man.
in that
52
middle.
today.
Like, your birthday's today?
No, July, but I'm 52 today.
Oh
Yeah.
God, he had sent us there for a
Jeez.
second.
God,
Wow.
yeah.
We're the
Yeah.
worst group ever.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah. Okay.
Mark your calendar. I'll do the math, and I'll tell you, July 7th, whatever it is, 2088 or whatever. When I don't know what it is, but 111.
I'll
Oh no,
be
I'll
there.
only be 80.
I'll be there,
Yeah,
buddy. I'll be there.
it might be 21 something actually. I'll have to do
Yeah,
the
well,
math on that.
Yeah, once you get the abacus figured out, let us know, and we'll,
Yeah.
we'll get that solved. One word for me again, guys: appreciation. Like, my perspective on health, and just as I've gotten older, the appreciation of being healthy, and the ability to show up and get out of bed every day and do the things you want to do. Obviously, as a younger man, that was never even considered. You just did. You bounced up. You moved. You were able to move. Most days, no matter what. And like Carrie's story of hurting his knee from sitting. Yeah, that's real, man. That is real. And you know what? Like, for me, I know if Fabian was here, he'd be talking about the story, because he tells us one often, of how, all our dads when we were growing up, just wait one day. You just wait one day, you'll see. And you're like, yeah, whatever, Dad. As you do a double backflip off the boat and smash your shoulder on the rock, and you're fine, But it's a real thing. So yeah, no, I certainly appreciate my health as I've gotten older, and obviously take it very seriously amongst as well as you guys. So yeah, over an hour, guys. So really appreciate the time tonight. As always, love the conversations. A little bit of housekeeping here. We've got our traditional standard 2 huddles for the month. One is November 11th at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and the second will be November 24th on a Monday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So we're very excited for those. Make sure you sign up for our Discord, and then you will gain access to the huddles that way. We will also be hosting an in-person event this month, which is very exciting. Yes, sir. Coming up November 18th, so 2 weeks away and a day from tonight. So again, if you're interested in that, the men's league guys are getting together. Going to shoot some pool. So be sure to sign up to the Discord, and then you obviously gain access there to come and hang out with the guys. So yeah, very excited. Exciting month ahead, and yeah, guys, appreciate your time tonight. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you, as always, for your thoughts and your minds, and we'll do it again next month.
Hoorah.
Cheers, fellas.
All right. Good night.
All right. See you guys.